Buying a car can be scary, intimidating, and if not done correctly, can leave you with a purchase that you'll be regretting for a very long time. So of course, we have to ask the question, how can we navigate the process of going to a dealership and interacting with the car salesman in order to best serve you as the car buyer? So I tapped in my husband HP to help provide some clarity into the car buying process, to provide insight into some of the dirtiest sales tactics that car salesmen and women use, and to also give you some insight into the actual car buying process from the perspective of a car salesman. That way, whenever you walk into a dealership, you know exactly what to expect, because HP used to be a car salesman, so he actually views the car market and interacting at car dealerships from the perspective of a car salesman rather than from the perspective of a consumer. So his insight can give us a glimpse into what car salesmen are thinking and doing behind the scenes. But before we dive into that, I do want to let you guys know that Black Friday is here, and as a result, my course, the Car Sharing Masterclass's once yearly Black Friday sale is going on right now. If you're watching this video from November 18th until November 30th, you can use the code BLACKFRIDAY247 in order to get 49% off the Car Sharing Masterclass, which is the lowest price that it will ever be ever again. And this is because come next year, we're going to be launching a second iteration of the Car Sharing Masterclass, and with this new iteration, all current students will gain access to the new iteration as well as all future iterations of the course. That way you have access to all of the most up-to-date information. As you guys know, I've been a Turo and car sharing host for over 5 years, and I've compounded all of the information and experiences that I've learned from over the last 5 years into 7 hours worth of course content that goes over everything that you need to know about car sharing, from how to buy cars and where to buy them, how to handle LLCs, accounting, how to automate communications with the guest, what happens if your car is in an accident, as well as everything in between. We have hundreds of successful students that have taken the Car Sharing Masterclass, and we'd love for you to be one of them, or else your money back guaranteed. So click on the link in the description below, use the code BLACKFRIDAY247, and secure your deal today. But with that, back to the video. I think we've all seen in movies and TV shows the idea that you get a piece of paper, you write down the price that you're willing to pay for an item, you then fold that piece of paper up and then slide it across the table.
I'm writing down a number. You're dreaming.
Is this actually a real way to negotiate a car deal? And if not, how should you do it instead?
So unlike what you see in the movies where they take a little piece of paper and they write down their final offer and then they pass it and they say, this is my final offer, it's not really like that. You really just have to give your commitment on a piece of paper and pass it to the salesman and say, hey, I promise to do this deal if you were able to make X, Y, and Z work, and that's it. It doesn't have to be this kind of smoking gun or like a duel where you're sitting there across from your salesman and you're like, he's gonna take this offer or I'm walking away. It doesn't have to be like that. You can take all the drama out of it, but it can still be used as a good negotiating tactic.
Now, I have heard so many times that car salesmen will listen to conversations in their office that their customers are having whenever they step out of that office. So for example, a car salesman might say, hey, I need to go talk to my manager, or hey, do you need a cup of water? And then whenever they leave the office, they'll hit a button on their phone that allows for them to listen to the conversation that is being had whenever they're away, which seems really problematic for a variety of different ways. But do salesmen actually do this?
No, salesmen do not do this. They don't listen in on your conversations. I think a lot of the times people get it in their heads that they're trying to be super secretive, and it's okay to have private conversations, but I highly doubt that any salesman is really that interested in to see what you're thinking, especially if you're being open about what you want in a car deal. So I'm sure this has happened at dealerships before, but it's definitely not a common occurrence.
Now, if anybody has spent any time negotiating a car deal, you've probably heard a car salesman say something along the lines of, let me go talk to my manager, or let me go talk to my director. Now, the question is, are these salesmen and women actually going to talk to their manager, or is this just a facade to make you feel either important or to feel like the deal is being negotiated?
That's really a 50-50 split. Sometimes managers do need to talk to their sales associates in order to approve certain things, and a salesman can't just make a deal, especially if it's out of left field and they're going to lose a bunch of money. So in some cases, they might go to the manager and say, yes, they need to do this, but oftentimes it's up to the salesman to protect their own commission when it comes to a deal. So they're obviously not going to go talk to the manager. They might go in the sales office and pretend like it. They might check their Facebook real quick, but then they're going to come back in and shut down whatever answer you have and say, well, the manager said we just can't do something like this, but I think I know where he's thinking. Why don't we do this instead? What I mean by a salesman protecting their commission is that some dealerships, the way they have their pay plan structured, a salesman could make a flat rate every time they sell a car. So they might make $300, $400, $500 per car, and that's it. That means that they wouldn't necessarily care about how much that car ends up selling for. Or on the opposite end of the spectrum, they get a percentage of how much they sell that vehicle for. So they might get 8, 9, 10% depending on the vehicle. So obviously they don't want to sell this car for any less than they have to. So sometimes it's in the best interest of the salesman to keep as much money in the deal as possible and not give away any discounts to protect their own commission. And if they can go to the sales office and pretend to talk to the sales manager, they can at least come back and say, yeah, the sales manager's the bad guy, but I'm on your side. He didn't want to do this deal.
No negotiation dealerships are becoming increasingly more and more common. But the question is, are these no negotiation dealerships, like AutoNation for example, are they actually no negotiation? Or is there some wiggle room with the price?
I used to work at an AutoNation dealership, and they definitely touted the fact that they do not haggle on prices because they claim that their prices are so low they beat everyone else in the market, and it makes it easier for the consumer to purchase a vehicle because of that. But truthfully, negotiations aren't limited to the vehicle that you're buying. They also happen on the vehicle that you're trading in. So they might give you a little more extra money and negotiate the price of your vehicle to make you feel better about the vehicle that you're buying. So for instance, if you want $2,000 off the vehicle that you're buying from this dealership, they might negotiate that and put that money on your trade-in instead versus saying that they negotiated on the vehicle that they're selling. So in summary, yes, they are truly no negotiations, but there are some creative ways that you can get a little more extra bang for your buck in the form of a trade, or maybe in form of like floor mats or some free oil changes. Possibilities are endless.
Now, whenever it comes to how you communicate with a car salesman, I feel like there's a lot of confusion out there on what you should and should not say whenever you're buying a car. But one of the most popular questions that I've seen is the question of, should you tell your car salesman how much you're wanting to pay per month for your new vehicle?
It is a bad idea to give your salesman the payment that you want to pay. Dealerships have many ways to make a specific type of car fit a specific type of payment. And this can be done by either stretching out your term significantly to make that monthly payment drastically reduced. They can increase or decrease interest rates or even add on special products like protection plans or extended warranties to the vehicle to make sure they hit that. It's really important to do your research to know what type of vehicle you can buy at a specific monthly payment and then start shopping for vehicles in that price range and not let the dealerships dictate how you get that payment.
Then there is, of course, the question of what happens if you fall in love with the car that you're looking at. Should you try to keep a poker face, remain relatively unreadable, and try to be as calm as possible? Or should you let your emotions show a bit and tell the car salesman that you actually like the car that you're looking at? What is the best approach here, and which will get you the best price?
This is definitely a mistake. It's like showing all of your cards to the salesman. If a salesman knows that you love a vehicle and that you're willing to do just about anything to get into the vehicle that you love and it's your perfect match, then why would they take off any money? It definitely does hurt your negotiation tactic in the end.
Now, I talk all the time on my channel about mistakes to avoid and how to set yourself up for success when buying a used or new car. But from the perspective of a salesman, what is the biggest mistake that you see car buyers make?
The biggest mistake that I saw a lot of my customers make is that they did not do the research of the vehicle that they're buying. If one of my clients came in and started looking at a vehicle and they needed certain features on a vehicle, that could leave them open to ending up overpaying on a vehicle, meaning that they're going to get a vehicle that costs way too much money for certain features that they might be able to live without. But because they told me they need these features, then they're going to get a whole bunch more. Being an educated buyer is the best way to limit yourself from dealerships having predatory behavior and leaves yourself less vulnerable to making some pretty serious financial mistakes.
But with that being said, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope it gave you some clarity onto some of the do's and don'ts of buying a car in this current car market. Now, I've said it a lot on my channel, but I think it's becoming more and more true as time goes on. Good deals are out there and you can in fact negotiate prices at dealerships today, but that task is a little bit harder than it was this time in 2019. So make sure to keep in mind some of the different things that we've discussed in this video, and you should be setting yourself up for success if you're somebody who's in the market for a used or new car. Like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.